Ciao everyone, it's Marchettino, and today I'm driving the first ever electric car made by Mini. Is it fun to drive? Well, let's find out. Talking about electric cars in general, it's not a taboo anymore because this kind of technology is expanding quite a lot. And these days, we don't get surprised anymore whenever a company unveils for the first time in their history a 100% electric vehicle. The history and legend of Mini last since more than 60 years, and by the end of this decade, we might see a radical change from this company, because the car that I'm driving today, the new Mini Cooper SE, this car marks a new beginning for the company, because this marks the first step into the making of a wider range of electric models branded Mini. So in terms of mechanical components, this car has suffered a radical change. But in terms of style, it's a Mini. You immediately recognize it. Being electric, of course, it has a few different changes compared to the petrol version. For example, we don't have exhaust pipes, we don't have the front grille. The wheels, love them or hate them. Personally, I like them. I think they look stylish. Being designed in this way, the wheels are more efficient, which means that they also improve the battery autonomy. It also has the typical design element which makes you realize it's an S version, which is the air intake, but I'm not gonna say it loud. It's fake. Yeah, it's fake. The fake air intake has been introduced in the Cooper S petrol version, the generation R56, so yeah, it's pointless. It still has the shape of a Mini, the style of a Mini, and I wonder, does it have the typical fun factor of Mini? Is the concept of sports car changing? Well, one thing is sure, because the electric Cooper S is not going to replace its brother with the petrol engine. Even though I have to say, the performance are very close. Look at this. In absolute silence, this car goes to 100 kilometers per hour in 7.3 seconds. The variant with the petrol engine does that half second quicker. 0 to 140. A newspaper claimed that the current generation of the petrol Cooper S does that in 12.4 seconds. This one I tracked 12.8 seconds. I did this test multiple times and I always tracked this time. When you get to 140, you are behind the corner of the top speed, because on the Cooper S Electric it's limited to 150. So you might wonder, what's the trick? What's under the hood to make this electric car quite fast? Well, if we open the trunk, we see the electric engine, which is actually lighter compared to the petrol engine, but we have the batteries that add extra weight. The batteries are located on the floor of the car. The negative side is that the batteries add 145 kilos, which is a lot for such a small car, which means that now the weight is about 1,345 kilos. The good thing is that the batteries are on the floor, so the center of gravity is very low. This is a good thing because the batteries on the floor enhance even more the fun factor, the typical go-kart driving feel you feel behind the wheel of a Mini. I mean, any Mini. The great thing about driving a Mini, even if you drive a normal Mini one with a tiny petrol engine, or a more powerful Cooper S, or even the John Cooper Works, you have good fun. You have a good time because this car is tiny, compact. It's good fun to drive around such kind of winding road. Depending on the road, the situation, the driving style. Here on the Cooper S Electric we have different settings. If you want to have the maximum autonomy, if you want to drive as much as you can, you have Green Plus and Green. Then you have the standard setting, which is this setting I'm driving right now. Then let's switch to Sport mode with also the traction control off. In this setting we can unleash all the power of the electric engine, 184 horsepower and 270 newton meters of torque, which is not that bad considering that whenever you hit the throttle you have all the power instantly. And when you put sport and start to floor on the gas pedal, you realize that this car is properly fast on a road like this. Bit of a wheel spin, but this is also given the winter tires. Even if these tires aren't the right ones for this situation, I would love to have some good summer tires right now. The technicians of Mini have done a pretty good job to recalibrate the electronics, because the way an electric car delivers the power is totally different compared to the classic Mini with a petrol or diesel engine. And I think they did a good job, because whenever I smash the foot on the throttle, especially when I get off these corners at full speed, I don't feel the front tires spinning. Sometimes I also need to have a look on the autonomy of the battery, because with the European homologation Mini claims 270 kilometers. Of course, if you drive like I'm doing right now, the autonomy is definitely lower, which is still the limit of the electric cars today, especially in Italy, because there is still not yet a great selection of public charging stations. Another problem is the time of charging, because if you do that on a 50 kilowatt per hour public charging stations, this car goes from 0 to 80% in 35 minutes. If you do that on the 11 kilowatt home wall box or public charging station, it takes about 2 hours and a half. If you do that home with your classic 3 kilowatt energy counter, it takes a bit more. Well, it takes 12 hours, but the problem is that if you decide to charge the car, basically you can do anything more, because I had to shut off my energy meter twice while charging this car, because basically you cannot cook, wash the dishes and charge the car at the same time. You need at least a good 7 kilowatt, at least. And this makes you think that using an electric car mainly for a urban use, it's okay, it's not a problem. But if you get out of the city and want to cover more miles than usual, then you need to plan the trip in advance. And this is still today the limit of the electric. I think this car is not designed to replace the petrol version. I think this car is designed more to attract those kind of people that maybe they already have a Mini, not a Cooper S, and maybe they are interested to get into the electric world and remain in the Mini family. Because this car still has the look, the DNA and the Mini fun factor. Of course, if you are an enthusiast and you have a petrol Mini Cooper S, I don't think you want to swap with this one. Even though, talking about the prices, this car in Italy is priced 33,000 euros. If you use the government eco bonus, which is up to 6,000 euros, this car costs 27,000 euros, which is the same price of the petrol version. I think this car doesn't want to be a replacement, but it wants to be an alternative designed to a different kind of potential customers. Look at this. This car is fast. And maybe around these hairpins, this is even quicker than the petrol version, because you can get out of the hairpins with the maximum torque and power available immediately. You don't have any kind of turbo lag. The extra weight is put in a way not to be a big defect. And see that, for being a nearly 1.4 ton compact car, you can see this car is pretty fast, and I'm driving with winter tires. You can see that through the screen. Whenever I brake or lift off the throttle, you can see that the battery actually recharges I don't think it recharges that much considering how much battery I'm using around these roads, but still you get a little bit of extra energy whenever you slow down. And even if I don't press the brake pedal, the engine brake, like on all the electric cars, this is very strong. For a urban use, you basically never have to press the brake pedal. Guys, I just had to stop the car because it really happened. I just ran out of battery. Nah, I'm kidding. Love or hate the fact that Mini has created a full electric car, I think we need to make anyway some compliments to this brand, because first of all, just look at the car. On the market, there are so many 100% electric vehicles that look so dull and boring, but this Mini managed to make an electric car by keeping the style, the DNA of Mini. And I have to say, this car looks pretty good. The wheel looks so weird, but I like them actually. I think we can say that this is one of the prettiest electric cars available on the market. And I need to make also another positive mention regarding the way this car moves. You know guys, I'm more the kind of guy that would rather drive a straight pipe petrol Cooper S, but this car, the way Mini designed it, it's good fun to drive. Extra weight, especially on a sports car, it's never a good thing. But as I said, the way they have placed this extra weight is positive for the driving dynamics because it makes the center of gravity lower. So for now, don't think this car as a successor of the petrol Cooper S, but an alternative. I don't think that right now this car is thought for those who have a Cooper S petrol, but this is more designed towards those who have a normal car and want to jump into the electric world in style. I just wonder, will this car be a successor of the Cooper S at some point? You know, all the manufacturers are investing a lot of money in electric technology. Can you imagine a world without a petrol noisy Mini Cooper S? Who knows? I think time will tell. Anyway, it feels so good to be back to shoot videos in English language. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more. And as always, thanks for watching. Ciao!